Can we talk about the loneliness of working for yourself? Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Tobias Mark from Lit Video Productions. We make epic videos for epic companies, and today on my vlog I'd like to talk about the loneliness of working for yourself. And you know, it's kind of like this. Yeah, all day. So what can we do to, I don't know, keep ourselves motivated, not go insane when you're just constantly always by yourself? And there's pros and cons to this. If you could, give us a subscribe for more content like this. Comment in the section below if it's a story that you're going along with in your life. And, you know, give us a thumbs up, because we always like that. And hit the bell when you subscribe so you get notifications of any videos that come out. So, moving on, I'd also like to talk about just some stuff that happened this week. My computer, my tower, I should say, when I was rendering and exporting a video, it was about a 10-minute long video. You know, had a few layers of content to it, some adjustment layers and that kind of thing. But my processor was getting to its threshold level, which was 90 degrees Celsius. It was hitting a threshold, so I had to grab a fan and stick a fan on the side of my unit just to blow some more air in there. So now I've got to add an intake fan to the computer. So I can either just take it to a shop and get it done, or I can go buy an intake fan and figure out how to install one myself. Luckily, with the internet and everything, I'm able to do that. So this kind of ties into working for myself, working by myself. There's nobody else out there to help me. If I need it done, I gotta look at myself and get it done. So I gotta figure out when I can get it done, when's it practical for me to get it done, what's the cost, all that kind of thing. But it needs to happen because obviously I can't have my computer overheating like that when I'm exporting even just a 10-minute video. Imagine if it was an hour-long video that I was trying to export. I mean, that processor is gonna just light on fire. So I need to make sure I've got some kind of cooling system that's better in place, and I'm gonna start with at least an intake fan. So currently I got the whole thing taken apart just to at least get some more air moved in there, and I'm taking the side off and blowing a fan in there currently while I process, so at least I'm getting some cool air in there. I've noticed that the graphics card is getting super hot, and then the processor sits right above it, so it might just be that the heat's rising and then causing more heat on it as well. So hopefully getting that draw through air will help. So yeah, gotta figure that out myself and figure out exactly what's going on with that. So, you know, that's one thing. And then I've got a shoot coming up next week, and I had to do some tests and figure out exactly how I want to hang everything and do everything. Once again, I'm by myself. I've got to be like, all right, let me test this rig out. Let me do this. I did it on a Sunday morning. You know, what else am I doing? I fed my fish and decided to go ahead and do a test rig for a gig that I was doing coming up. And once I did that, I was like, all right, I know exactly how we're going to do this thing and set it up so that when I get there the day of, my process and setup is going to be that much quicker than it would have been if I hadn't done that thing on my own, you know, with my equipment just to test it out. So back on today's subject about loneliness. I mean, there's part of me that loves being by myself. When I need to work on a project or anything like that, I really need to focus. I can't have any other distractions. I need to sit there, be on the machine, be working on it, whatever it is. I can't have any outside distraction. So it can't be somebody popping in just to say something. It can't be my phone going off. It can't be emails, Facebook, social media, anything like that that's gonna distract me, I can't do. So it works out for me very well. But then there's times where, you know, it's been a couple weeks have gone by and I might have only seen my girlfriend and maybe one or two other people. And it kind of dawns on you that you're spending most of your day just by yourself, which is great to have time to contemplate stuff, to work on things, to formulate ideas, but you get to a point where it's just like, I need to talk to somebody. I need somebody other than myself to talk to, because I feel like I'm going crazy just talking to myself. So luckily, you know, I know some of my friends' schedules when they're off, that kind of thing. I'm able to call, have a conversation, outside of work stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like living life. Also, since I work 7 days a week pretty much, there's at least every day I do at least an hour of work. It just happens. No matter what, you're gonna do an hour of work. Saturday morning, might get up, I'm gonna sit there and jump on the computer and I'm gonna work on something. So, oops, messenger's going off. So I work pretty much 7 days a week. I work 7 days a week. Now that might only be an hour on like a Saturday morning or an hour on a Sunday morning, but I do work pretty much every single day, regardless of what else is going on. I'll jump on the computer, answer emails, or I'll look on my analytics. I'll be uploading videos. I'll be working on this thing. I'll be training on this video. There's always time to be working on something. I'm getting really caught up with all my projects, and they're at a point where, you know, I'm waiting on some other dominoes to fall in place before I can move on with them. So I don't even know where I was going with the 7 days a week and being lonely working by yourself. Now trust me, being a creative, working by yourself is fantastic. It gives me time to work on, just to think by myself. I love that aspect. And when I'm working on some other stuff, I will pace about thinking about something for hours. Not hours, no, maybe, yeah, about an hour or so. If I look at my stepometer, there's a lot of steps in there. But I'm sitting there and I'm just formulating, I'm thinking. Like I spent the other day thinking about how I would relight this one room that I always have to shoot in. And I've always had an issue with lighting and this thing because they change up stuff. So now I'm like, all right, I've had all these things happen. Let me change it up to do that. So I spent some time just thinking about that. I think I was mowing the lawn, and as I was mowing the lawn, I was just thinking about that. I don't have a gig coming up in there anytime soon, but my head was just thinking about it. So how do I keep my sanity when I'm working by myself? I mean, there's times where it's just, I don't want to say soul crushing, but it's just, I mean, being lonely is just that. You're lonely, you know. It's hard to explain other than I'm just by myself doing this. And I think that aspect comes into running my business. As I do everything by myself, I feel very lonely in my process currently. I have to be all these different aspects and fill them in. So every day I'm working on so many different things, and I have to do all of those, and I have to do it all by myself. I want some other people to help me out, don't get me wrong. And I know that I'm gonna get there, but I mean, at this point, I'm past the 18-month mark of a business being launched. And I mean, I think about actually the last couple of years being a freelancer and all that, it's a lot of lonely days. There's a lot of time you spent by yourself. Now working on a brand, working on a company, that fills in a lot of my gaps. So while I'm still working on client content and I'm working on future clients, I still have to work on my brand content and other things. And there's a lot of things to do, but I have time to do it all. I just have to time block myself to get it all done and not stress out because I know I'm doing it by myself. I do have a support team with certain friends, and I have an inner circle and everything that I call to, but at the end of the day, I still have to do all the work. Such it is. I mean, I am the boss, I'm the CEO, I'm the DP, I'm the editor, I'm all those aspects that come into it, that's all me. So, you know, I realize I'm an army of one right now, and I do work with crews, you know, on different stuff, but for the most part, everything's an army of one, and I do realize that, so I have to look at some of the things that I've done by myself, and they're really good, you know? So, yeah, you gotta kind of boost yourself up like that. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I gotta remind myself, dude, you're by yourself doing things that would normally have a 3-4 person crew. So, don't stress out about it, get it all done. You do everything by yourself. I don't want to be working by myself all the time. I want to be on set working with other people, but it is what it is right now, and that's part of my growing phase. So, how do you cope with being lonely? How do you cope with just, sometimes, like you said, I will go weeks where I don't really see too many other people. I only have some interaction with people virtually. So yeah, I want to hear about some of your stories about just being lonely. Are you lonely? I know I get lonely, and it's just, it comes with the territory, and you just gotta pop yourself up out of the kind of depression that can come with that. So I hope some of my experiences and story with being lonely and the fact that I get lonely, realize you're not the only one if you're getting lonely when you work by yourself. I mean, it's just, you should be lonely. It should happen every once in a while where you're just lonely. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but there's definitely times where it's like, you know, yeah, I need to interact with some people. My biggest thing that I want you to get out of this is that, you know, I'm going through it too. So anybody else, like if you're going through this, if you can relate, I'd like to hear in the comment section below. Until next time, you have a fantastic day. May your week be epic. My name's Tobias Mark from Lit Video Productions. We make epic videos for epic companies. Cheers.